I know.
We're not done.
I'm just saying.
At one point, he eventually fathers 13 children by 5 different wives.
Oh, girl. You settle it down.
I found this in the Huffington Post article on the story. He's been quoted as saying, oh, it's so good. Here's a Captain Tony quote. All you need in this life is a tremendous sex drive and a great ego.
Oh, my goodness.
Brains don't mean a shit.
Get it.
Fucking get it. So he purchases the bar in 1958, right? And then he turns it into Captain Tony's Saloon. And over time, the bar gets built onto, they do a lot of work on it. They expand it out more. And also that impromptu gravesite that we had talked about earlier with all the holy water in it, they built over it and around it. So that is now a piece of the bar. It's inside of it. There is literally a gravesite.
Right, like I said,
in
all
the
I
bar.
want is that there's a marking of the gravesite in the bar.
There's not, though.
I know, but I want it to be.
I want there to be too, but there are multiple graves in the bar, and there are headstones, but we'll get to that later. So one of the really fascinating things about the bar is that there is a gigantic tree that grows through the middle of the bar that it was built around. The tree is still very much alive, and it is the center of the bar.
Outstanding.
The tree is actually the local hanging tree.
Oh, less happy about that, though.
Mostly because Key West had like a pretty big issue with pirates at the time.
Yeah.
A lot of the people that were executed on the tree were pirates.
Okay.
But there is one case in specific, because also, like, local criminals were executed there as well.
Right.
But they had a lot of issues with pirates, right? So that was, like, the vast majority. There is one case, however, that's maybe the biggest execution on the hanging tree that is not a pirate. And it's most well-known, but it also manifests later in the paranormal activity in the bar.
Okay. So maybe this might be a watering hole for me, depending on how the story goes.
Oh, yeah, no, like, I'm so into it. Like, I want to hang out here really bad. The most popular execution, as we just talked about, was not a pirate. It was actually the Lady in Blue.
Okay.
She had apparently been hanged after she murdered her husband and 2 sons.
Why there's so much fucking child murder?
I know. Well, I feel like, from what I understand, her 2 sons were not, like, tiny, like, small children, but they were older.
Okay, that doesn't make it better, but still.
And, I mean, yeah, like, no, like, murder's never great, so, like, maybe don't do it. Like, I would strongly advise against it. Like,
me too.
On Yelp, I give it, like, a 1 out of 5 stars.
I would give it a
do
negative. Can there be...
No, you can't do that on Yelp. That's not part of the
Can
policy.
I give it 0 stars? I would if I could.
Are you kidding? There are so many businesses I would give negative stars if I could. They don't. It's not like a thing that they allow. I'm not happy about it. She had apparently been executed after killing her husband and 2 sons. She was executed after it was discovered that she had stabbed all 3 of them. And her blue dress that was splattered with their blood was the thing that she was hanged in. And, you know, obviously she's the blue woman because she appears in the blue dress, but her skin also appears to be blue when people spot her as well, which is said to be because she was hanged, and after being hanged, your skin turns blue.
Right.
So apparently during renovations on the bar in the 80s, they were trying to build what was meant to be the billiards room, which, and it was the billiards room for a period of time, right?
Over the unknown person's grave.
They kind of knew that was there, so it was built around, but floorboards were pulled up, and workers had discovered the skeletal remains of somewhere between 8 and 15 people.
Wow.
It's not exactly clear because the bones and the remains were sort of scattered about and had been jostled over time. But they also discover the headstone with the name Elvira on it.
Hey, Elvira.
So the tombstone actually reads, Elvira, daughter of Joseph and Susanna Edmonds, died December 21st, 1822, aged 19 years and 8 months, 21 days. Her headstone is still in the bar to this day. It's displayed as part of the cement flooring in the billiards room, or what used to serve as the billiards room. Well, because it's not a billiards room anymore now. It's like kind of like a video gaming room.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah.
I hate that.
But they poured the cement and they had set the headstone flat into it, so now it's part of the floor. So there is also, by the way, Elvira's headstone is not the only headstone in the bar.
Uh-huh.
There is another headstone, and it is laid at the base of the hanging tree.
Okay.
And this headstone is Reba Sawyer's. The story behind this one, though, is a little bit different. The story goes that after Reba had passed away, her husband had found these hidden letters in her belongings detailing an affair that she had had while they were married between her and another man. And in the letters, it said that the two of them would frequently meet up at what is now Captain Tony's.
Okay.
So her husband finds all of these notes detailing her affair with this other man, right? And he gets really upsetty spaghetti about the whole thing. So he goes to the graveyard. He carries her incredibly heavy headstone all the way from the cemetery to the bar, where he walks in, makes a scene in front of all of the patrons, drops it on the floor and says, "This is where she wanted to be. This is where she can stay forever."
That's hilarious.
It's pretty hilarious.
And she's like, all right, man. For real, though.
So Reba's headstone says 1900 to 1950, and Captain Tony did not actually buy the place until 1958. So that's why I feel like this place is somewhere where they used to meet up when it was a different establishment. So, like I said, the lady in blue, she's a thing there. People oftentimes catch orbs, not only on their photos, but also with their naked eye. They catch these orbs inside of the bar, but also outside of the bar. Actually, a lot of people catch these orbs on the street when they're taking photos of the outside of the bar. But a lot of the activity in the bar happens in or near the ladies' restroom. A lot of people have reported stall doors being locked when nobody is inside of the stalls. Doors have also in the bathroom slammed on their own repeatedly. The bathroom door going into the restroom slams by itself. There are people who say that they've encountered cold spots throughout the bar, sometimes even so serious where they've been able to see their breath. A lot of people also report hearing voices calling out to them. I don't think that there's anything like necessarily bad in the bar. I just think that it's had a lot of history and there's a lot of layers to it.
Right, right.
So they also, just like to close it out a little bit, here's a couple of fun facts. First off, they make something called Pirate's Punch, and I don't know what's in it. I'm guessing it's probably rum.
Yeah, definitely rum.
It's gotta be rum. And the second thing is, you remember how we talked about how Jimmy Buffett apparently is super into this bar?
Nah.
So he has apparently written a song about the bar. It is about Captain Tony, and the song is called Last Mango in Paris. So that is Captain Tony's Saloon. Chevy has actually been to Captain Tony's Saloon before. So just what do you remember from it?
I just remember I thought the tree kind of fit in very well there. The ceilings are very low from what I remember, and I feel like if like Ty went in there,
so like I'd have a hard time because I'm a giant.
He would be like choking on them.
Dive bar basement, man. That's my bar, man.
Yeah, I mean, the lady who did the tour guide, she was like so informational. Like, I think she was originally from New Orleans, and she like did ghost stories
Go
from
figure.
there.
So sure,
ghost stories from here. Yes, and I remember the seats with all of like the celebrities that had sat there before.
That's really
Did you
cool,
sit in one of them?
I don't remember which one it was because I didn't know any of them.
I was gonna say, do you remember which celebrity you sat on?
Bigger.
I think it's gonna be like one of the more. I think it was like more of the old school celebrities that I didn't really like know.
Fully know.
Yeah.
Yeah, after I found out that it was a dive bar, I was like, okay, so it's Whitney Town.
Yeah,
Okay.
I live in dive bars. They're my favorite. That's where I make friends. So, I have a really great toast. Fill the tureen for Halloween and let the cups be clinking. For on this night, 'tis our delight, the witches' health keep drinking.
That's
I love everything about that.
It's cute, right?
I love.
It's very delightful.
Here we go, everybody, all
With
three
our
of us.
skull glasses.
Cheers.
And if you'd like to cheers with us on social media, you can find us on Facebook at Shots in the Dark Pod. You can also find us on Twitter and Snapchat at Shots in the Dark P. We sometimes remember to post things on those places. Also, you can look at pictures of us and or some of the locations that we talked about on our Instagram at Shots in the Dark Podcast. Find us. We tend to like communicating with humans.
And also, if you like the show, it would be super cool if you could go on iTunes or any of your favorite podcast directories and leave us a 5-star rating and review. It helps us so much because it helps other people find the podcast. It's a real big deal. And we also have a Patreon account, which we are working on putting way more content on right now. And it supports the show, but it also supports the community of podcasters because eventually we would like to be able to take some of our Patreon funds and not only funnel them back into other podcasts that we think should be a bigger deal, but also hopefully at some point be able to give some of that money to charities as well.
Right. That generally affects anyone that's part of this community because it shouldn't just be about us.
Yeah, so you can feel really good about supporting us on Patreon.
Right, because you're not really supporting us, you're supporting life.
Yeah, it's fun. Cool beans. Do it.
If you have something to talk to us about for any reason whatsoever, you can always send us an email on shotsinthedarkpodcast@gmail.com.
So with all of that being said, from both of us here at Shots in the Dark Podcast, we hope we've left you shaken.
Not stirred.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that's pure whiskey. Okay.
No, it isn't. There's a splash in there.